Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is all about racing. It is good to have you. This particular episode, we're going to be looking at this 2000 Nesquik Monte Carlo, the number 10, driven by Jeff Green. Folks, I don't know how many of you might be familiar with Jeff Green, but there's a fascinating history about the body of this car, and we're going to go over that in just a second. Jeff Green competed in the 2000 Busch Series with this particular car, which is now the Xfinity Series. During that season, he started 18 races, and he won 5 of them on way to winning the Busch Series title for PPC Racing. Here's the interesting part. The body of this car was discovered in what they call the race car graveyard. Just the body, as you see it here. The story goes, as the team was relocating to a new facility after the car had been retired, the body of it was hanging from the shop floor and had been damaged by a forklift. Consequently, Green donated to the graveyard, and that's where it was found some 16 years later, completely overrun with filth. And I mean, imagine, you've got a body of car in a graveyard, and it's just the body, not the chassis, not the engine, nothing else, just the body. Imagine if you had just removed this from the 4 screws that hold it. That would be what was left of it, and that's what they found. It's a shame because it's a really cool car. Anything in yellow I like, and folks, I don't know if you know, but back in the days when this car was running, these cars were wrapped, but they had a base color. And this was yellow. And yellow, it was like the hardest thing to paint because it took so many different coats of it to get it to stick. They didn't wrap the entire car back then like they do today. But this one was painted yellow with an Nesquik, and it's really kind of cool. This is from the Team Caliper series, which you can see right there. These are considered like the creme de la creme of the car. They're first class. They were pricey back in the day. Very, very well detailed. It's amazing. I look back at it now, and for 22 years, I love NASCAR. The cars, granted, were never exciting. I mean, folks, let's face it. It's a Monte Carlo. Have you ever seen a Monte Carlo from 2000? It is probably one of the shittiest sedans on the planet. Fucking awful looking. Almost worse than the Taurus, but not quite. But nevertheless, I love watching them race. They sounded terrific. They banged the crap out of each other. It was a lot of fun. It was almost like watching professional demolition derby, just trying to win a race. But a lot of times the liveries were really cool. Let's face it, folks, when we buy a car, first we got to love the car. In NASCAR, nobody loves a Monte Carlo. Nobody loves a Taurus. Nobody loves a Grand Prix. And nobody sure as shit loves a Camry. We buy them for the liveries. And that's what I did, back in those days. And this was one of the absolute cooler ones with the Nesquik bunny on it, and, Nestle being a prime sponsor. And the detail, guys, the detail in these cars in 2000 is unlike anything that you can buy today. They have cut so many corners with today's cars. I think probably to sell them for a price point that they just couldn't do today what they did in 2000. So sadly, if you were to buy this car today and running in the current series, it'd be a pretty shitty car. This is a cool look at the front of it, and the grill work is excellent. You see the Nestle chocolate, rolling around the front of it, and you can see that continues all the way down the side to the number 10. Of course, the grill work is all nicely done. Everything else is decals. Interior of these cars is just spectacular. They look just like they did when they raced them. And here's a look at the passenger side. And I have not looked at this car. I probably haven't removed the case for 15 years. I forgot that the window piece is missing, so you can actually see in here. And this box has a spare window inside of the box. They're meant to be removed. You can see there's a little clip for it. You see right there. And you can pull it off and look in it. And if you look inside there, you can see the stick shift. You see the framework. You can see, electronics modules. There's usually, there's a fire extinguisher back there. Jeff Green's signature on there. You can see the framework. A lot of the tubing, sucks air, in there. Really pretty cool. There you can see the assist shift, and you should be able to see the console and everything else, which you can see. Very nicely done. These cars were beautifully done back in the day. Anyhow, so that's what that looks like. There's a look in the rear window. Now we'll open the trunk where it says Nestle, Nesquik, and all that stuff. And in there you can see the fuel cell. Again, very, very nicely done. Engine detail is really good with the tethers. Attaching the hood to the frame of the car. Valve covers, radiator, wiring, everything. Just absolutely amazing work. Now, guys, here is where these cars of this era are far better than the crap you buy today. If you take today's car and you roll it over in 1/24 scale, it's going to look nothing like this. They may have the front end that looks a lot like this, and they do. But the transmission is just gray. The drive shaft is gray. None of the metal parts, the springs, the belts that you have, none of those are present on today's cars. They look nothing like this. They're really, quite frankly, just trashy in my opinion. This was one of the Owner's Series, a limited edition. This one being 482. That's a relatively small number. I don't know exactly how many of these they made. I would imagine it was probably a couple thousand. Particularly when you're the winner of the series, they might make quite a few of your cars. And folks, here's what it looks like inside the box. You've probably seen these boxes before if you've seen my videos. They made 2,340 of these. This one being, like I said, 480. And there you can see there's a little packet that's got an extra window in there, and other pieces on here that you might break or need replacement for. I've never even opened this, to be honest with you. I don't know what happened to the original window. It's been in a display case for 20 years. But anyhow, there is that. Very, very cool car. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care and see you next time.